Let's officially begin together, women. Namaste. So happy to be here again on a Tuesday night together in this way. Oh, let's begin with a moment of chanting and then settling in as well into our time this evening. So if it feels comfortable for you, find any seated, comfortable position, whether it's on a chair or seated cross-legged. In whatever way serves you in this moment, to just feel yourself alive, alert, and yet at the same time deeply relaxed, rested. And maybe it's taken some movement, some effort to arrive here. Some of us are still arriving. Allow there to be the felt sense of a few deep breaths that really allow us to feel grounded into this sisterhood sangha, into the space of being here together now. The simplicity found in this breath. And yet, as we enter into the breath within the breath, the life within life now, there's a great sense of all slowing down, quieting, a feeling of coming to. Take a moment to feel the waves of those breaths upon the heart space. That hridakasha, the spaciousness of the heart, gaining breadth and depth. Let every breath be a welcome invitation to the heart space, acquainting itself with its great vastness. And with every outgoing breath, feel that whole space of heart, chest softening, calming into its own inner knowing that all is as is. This inner restedness. Let's come from that space of the heart to chant a couple beautiful Vedic prayers together. Let the hands, if they feel aligned, to fall into the heart space, into Anjali Mudra. You might bring them there, whatever way feels perfect for you. Maybe staying here with the hands on the knees, or gently bringing the palms of the hands onto the heart, whatever feels deeply aligned in this moment. Not the next or the last, but now. Let's start with this beautiful Gayatri mantra, the chant to Gayatri. Really just welcoming this evening, in all moments and all days, but especially in this moment, welcoming the power of Goddess Gayatri, the power of light, the capacity even in the welcoming of life as is, to see it in its lightfulness. The capacity to see things unveiled. So Gayatri gives that light seeing, that light recognition, a great radiance seen within each and every moment, situation, being. So you can repeat after me, and we'll chant 3 times together in this way. Om Bhur-Bhuvah Swaha. Tat Saviturvarenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya Om Bhuvaswaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya Om Bhuvaswaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And then together let's chant to the 10 Mahavidyas, to the 10 goddesses. And so repeating after me, an invocation of each and every one of them. Even if you don't necessarily remember the qualities or exactly what their names mean, just really trusting that the reverberation of each mantra will wake up that aspect of the divine, the aspect of divine feminine that lives within you as each one of these 10 wisdom goddesses. So repeating after me. Om Kalima Namaha. Om Taramha Namaha. Om Shodashi Namaha. Om Bhuvaneshwari Namaha. Om Chinamasta Namaha. Om Dhumavati Namaha. Om Baglamukhi Namaha. Om Kamalatmika Namaha. Om Mahashakti Namaha. Om Parashakti Namaha. Om Mahashakti Namaha. Om Parashakti Namaha. Om Mahashakti Namaha. Om Parashakti Namaha. Settling there for a moment or two. Feeling the fullness. The wholeness, the totality. Brahman, pure consciousness, in all of the various Prakriti, Shakti, all of the dance of the divine, the various forms. Feel that dance as it lives within you now. Impartial, no requirement, unattempting. Instead, our very naturalness that all aspects of life exist here, live here, are expressed here now. And then gently, as it feels comfortable for you, let the hands settle down into the lap. And let's stay rested here for a few moments. Simply feeling what it is to be here this evening now. And connecting to our Sankalpa, our sacred intention that draws us to be here this evening. The whisper or the call of the heart. Really tasting, savoring the jnana, the great knowing that has brought us here together now. A trust in the infinite nature of this wisdom. And notice in this moment if there's something that's asking for more than what is. Something that's yearning to be in doership or to be distracted from the reality of your nature now. Something that might be looking for identification or the seduction of phenomena. And let that one get quiet in the resounding silence that's known here now. Feel the greater well of your beingness that is contented as is. Asks for nothing, attempts for nothing, and basks in its own ever-present fullness. Let that self-settlement be comfortable. And allow another couple full breaths to be felt, known as they are now. And then even before opening the eyes, maybe just allow the body to move in her own undulating access, whatever access point to movement, to deepening breath and to allowing Prana Shakti to find her own pathway in this body, maybe moving in one way slightly or stretching or finding whatever feels perfect for you now. And then when you feel ready, let's come to gently open the eyes. So as we're a smallerish group in this time together, let's just take one moment for a word or two. So if you were to give a descriptor to how you're feeling right now, maybe something that you take from the space around you, or an expression, an adjective that helps to describe your feeling state now. So let's start firstly with Mackenzie.
I'm feeling calm and centered today, embracing that because it's not always there. So.
Thanks, Mackenzie.
Yeah.
And Shanti. Om Shanti.
Sorry, every now and then you kind of buffer out, so.
Okay.
Sometimes, but words of today are just raw, earthy, just I'm trying like wild, deep, raw. That's it.
Yes, Om Shanti. Pam.
Peaceful.
Peaceful.
That's very good for me. And for everybody. Good.
Thanks, Pam. Radha.
I feel very appreciative. Lots of appreciation.
Thank you, Radha. Leslie.
I feel soothed.
Thank you, Leslie. Sasha.
I feel grateful, but tired tonight.
Thank you, Sasha. Chen.
Now is like melting with an accentuation on the like yummy melting.
Thank you, Jen. Tanya.
I feel blissful today.
Thank you, Tanya. Sonia. Do we have you?
I would say I'm feeling ready to settle in if I can work through these technology. I missed last week, and that was just I just ready to settle. That's where I'm at.
We got, I think, a little bit of what you were sharing, Sonia, but it's crackling out a bit. Just a little bit, but we still heard some of what you shared. Feel ready to settle. Yes. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much. Is everybody able to hear me okay? Is everything flowing okay on this end? Okay, good. I'm glad. So this evening, really just directed by the moment, I had the sense also with some of your requests and some things that it's just always, what's arising in the field of days or I had the sense for us to touch in and speak a little bit about the depth of, again, return to the depth of kama, pleasure, bliss, you know, how we're feeling around that. If some of you have been doing self-pleasuring, exploring, and really to get to some nitty-gritty, like for all of you to also have some time to share and ask questions about that whole arena of things. If you've been noticing, you know, anything from tenderness or numbness, or if some of you have been exploring and orgasm has been arising in other ways. So yeah, that's going to be some of our topic tonight. And then I would also love for us to have a little bit of time right now so that we can feel the somatic openness to that, both in our hearts and also in our yonis. What we might even call, you know, both hearts of the feminine body. Now this heart and also this heart, the womb heart and the heart space. That really, those two seats of ojas, if you remember, para, the great ojas, and apara, right? Not the lesser ojas, but we can say the one that can be replenished. And really those two seats of ojas, as we start to allow them to be more free, we notice that our own vitality becomes more freed. Our own pleasure seats become more freed. Our own connection to enjoyment, to be in joy. Really to be in kama, to be in ananda, those two spaces. There's a lot in the unfolding of our divine femininity that relates to these two spaces. And so let's have a little bit of time of exploring some of the things from our level 1 and level 2 and implementing them a bit into a bit of a yoga sadhana together. And then we'll move into some dyads and then some partner practices like last week, and then a bit of a discussion around pleasure and orgasms and all of that. How does that sound for everyone? Does that sound good? Okay, very good. So if you have a mat, like I was saying before, then get to it. Let's go to our mats. So move your camera, move your space in a way that you can be near to the mat. And I will do the same and hope that you can all see me well. Let's see how this works. We're going to come into lying, so you don't have to worry about being seen and standing. And Sonia, as I was saying to the rest, if you don't have a yoga mat, even just getting onto the floor. So, and even if you're on a couch, being on the couch as well, it's possible. Okay, are y'all able to see me well? Does this feel good for you? Can you see me here well? Yeah. Okay, so let's start for a moment in seated, and then we'll make our way down into lying and really get comfortable. So if you need to peel off a layer, or I know a lot of you are getting excited for lying down, so we'll come lying down in just a moment. If you need to take off any jewelry or anything that might be in the way also, then allow for that to be. And this will be really just a gentle exploration. We're going to allow this, as always, you know, as I sometimes or oftentimes use the term vichara yoga, we're going to allow this to be a yoga of inquiry. So the entirety of our time together will be one of exploration. There's nothing prescriptive about this, nothing that I'm asking you or telling you that you have to do. Really let prana shakti, let yourself respond moment to moment to how she's asking for the somatic opening to occur here, how she's asking for you to respond to life. So start in any kind of cross-legged position that feels comfortable for you, anything that feels wonderful there. And just bringing the hands down onto the knees and drop the chin ever so slightly. Let's settle there for a moment or two into our breath. And as we explored even in our sensuality sadhana from the first course together in our yoni yoga, start to allow breath to access all the way down towards the pelvic floor. Feel as though with the inhale, you're breathing into the pelvic floor and softening, releasing. And with the exhale, feel like it takes even a further step. And let that exhale move in through the round muscles. So as you exhale, exhale from the mouth and relax the mouth. Relax the hands, notice if you're gripping. Relax even the space around the navel and the eyes. Really bring a conscious relaxation into the space. of eyes, mouth, hands, navel, and all the way down into the yoni. Again, inhale. Inhale all the way down into the pelvic floor and feel like it engorges. It's filled with prana. And then exhale from mouth and relax all those spaces, all those round spaces of the body released. Feel that relaxation down into the anus also. And continue a few breaths in this way. The inhale draws all the way down, deep tension, holding, cortisol, especially in the feminine body, can be this clenching into the pelvic floor. Let all of that be relaxed. And with every exhale, feel like there's a melting. Every circular space in the body is welcomed into its circularity rather than tightening. Closing, let it be open. And continue in this way, and as you do so, maybe notice what's happening throughout the body, right from the top of the head down to the tips of the toes. Be here in availability, in an inquiry, rather than a localization. So don't just localize the mind on breath or on nose and mouth or on the yoni. Globalize it now. Let yourself feel the space throughout the entirety of the body and beyond. See if you can notice the tingling aliveness of prana as she courses through the nadis, the channels of energy. And throughout our sadhana, if some sounding comes, if gentle sounds or yawns arise, whatever might be, here we allow it to be. So if at the exhale a sound comes, just allow that to arise. And you don't have to make the body static if she gently yearns to move here. Just this is a powerful sadhana each day to really untether some of the somatic holdings into the yoni. Let's take one more full breath here in this way. And really with the exhale, let everything soften. And then with gentleness to yourself, find your way to lie down on your back. So find a slow, gentle way in which you can come onto the back. And if you need to use a pillow or a bolster under your knees so you can be comfortable, you can do so. But otherwise, I'm going to invite you all to come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet together. Lie yourself back. And if you need to use something here under the lumbar area or under the knees or under the hips to support this posture, you can. And then let the arms really reach and draw right up overhead. Enjoy that length that happens here. And then soften the arms. So you might soften them down at the sides, or you might soften the hands even onto the space of the heart. But allow the shoulders to be soft. It might feel good for you also to allow the right hand to stay here on the heart space and the left hand to make its way down towards the yoni, down towards the pelvis, the pubic bone. But again, try to relax both arms so the shoulders are down on the floor. And now let that breath really move down into both of these spaces, into the heart and also into the space of the pelvis. In Ayurveda, we use color, often the visualization of color, to bring harmony to the various places throughout the system. And in yoga, it's well known that each one of the chakras relates or emanates a specificity of color. So in this moment, to bring deep healing to these two spaces, let's visualize a gold, a radiant gold color. And with every inhalation, feel like that gold is filling up the space of Hridayam, the heart space, and the yoni, the space of the womb. And with every exhale again from the mouth, really relax. Again, take another couple breaths like this. If anybody's feeling uncomfortable around the hips, you can always adjust here. You don't have to stay in this position. One last full breath, visualizing that cocooning gold into these two areas. May this light really transmute any holdings, any somatic conditioned patterns, confinement, tendencies that have embedded even at a cellular level here. May this help to digest amma, to digest the undigested, whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally. Really see that radiant gold into these two spaces and then exhale. And then gently, softly, bring both hands under the hips. So under the upper thighs, that space of the hips, and slowly walk the feet, and you can use the hands to allow the knees to find their way back towards each other, and then take the feet and step them out towards the sides of the mat or the carpet so that your knees can relax towards each other. And even as I just did, rest or release the pelvis, the sacrum, so you might need to lift it and then drop it back down so it feels comfortable here. And drop both hands onto the yoni now, bringing them into a triangle. So the thumbs come together and the fingers come into such a way that the hand is in a triangle pointing down onto the space of the yoni as you lie into Supta Baddha Konasana. Or rather, as you lie with the knees touching each other, and the feet out. Again, relax the shoulders off to the sides and take a moment to notice what's happening through all those round muscles again. So take a moment here to really float through the body and notice. From top down, see what's happening in through the eyes. Can you relax the eyes more? Can you allow the eyes to soften back into the socket? Can you relax the space around the eyes, the space between the eyebrows? Now even check in around the ears and into the inner ear. Can you relax the space around the ears, into the ears? Check the space around the nostrils, the nose. Can you relax the nostrils? Soften. Check the space of the mouth and the jaw. Draw your attention all the way back to where the jaw meets the ears, and can you bring a deepened relaxation, softening? Relax the mouth by parting the lips, relaxing the tongue. Then allow the attention to draw all the way down to the navel. Can you bring a melting relaxation into the space of the abdomen, the navel? And then consciously bring the attention down towards the yoni, the entrance of the yoni. And notice, is there a clenching, a holding? Can you consciously allow there to be a softening? And similarly, bring your attention to the anus and notice if there's a holding. And then gently welcoming a softening to all these places of cagings, the way in which the body has established certain conditionings, mind patterns that have encaged us. And then bring your attention all the way up through the vaginal canal towards the space of the cervix. Even if you can't feel it, bring your attention there. It might be in the very center of this triangle, in fact. And then consciously bring a relaxation there. Continue to breathe deeply. stay there at the cervix and continue to feel like you are now breathing as you inhale that golden radiant light into the space of the cervix. And as you exhale, you're melting out, releasing any held, stuck tension in this area. You can even visualize the area spacious, relaxed, glowing. And as you exhale, really again, maybe allowing sounding to be released as you release the area of the vocal cords. This also relates, this whole area of the vocal cords, the larynx, the throat, really relating again to the yoni. So maybe allowing whatever intuitive sound that comes to move out with the exhale. Oh. Find your own uniqueness of sounding. Let there be an exploration here. And twice more in this way. And then consciously, as you hold your attention in the area of the cervix, let there be an emanation of loving kindness, of metta, sent towards this space, towards this area. With intent, it's like you're blessing the area. You're asking that love and unconditionality be showered, be bathed to this area. Any ways in which she's protected herself, guarded herself, held herself. May the great creative force be free here. May she be totally untethered, wilded. Just sending metta into the space of the soul. And then gently start to release the hands. Feel the power of that shape, the triangle, the downward triangle, and gently release the hands. Maybe let them come down onto the sides of the mat, palms down onto the space of the hips. And then bring your feet back to a place of neutrality. So your feet directly under the knees, out from the hips, and the knees point up towards the sky. And then let's just come into some gentle warming, some gentle pratapana, some warmings for the body. So let's start ever so slowly. Take the right knee towards the chest, and then in small circles, draw it out towards the side of the body, and then back up without touching the toes down onto the floor, and create these small circles, very conscious, slow movements. And if it feels more supportive to bring the hands back towards the hips and to really stabilize the hips as you do this, you might do that. Or if you want to really open up through the chest and let the arms relax down to the sides, really allow each movement to be intuitive. So feel these opening movements into that right hip, pelvis, and continue to breathe. And then with the next time that you find yourself coming towards the center, start to move in the other direction. So now coming down and maybe up. So whichever way you've gone, maybe you've gone the other way first, but just try to find the opposite movement. And you might go really slowly here, or you might increase the pace. welcoming maybe the extension, slight extension of the leg at times. Let this movement be yours. So if you feel to do it in another way, really allow for that to be. And if it's helpful for you to maintain that sounding, to maintain that conscious breathing out from the mouth and relaxing all of the round circular muscles, you might do so. Let this be the last rotation on that side. And then draw the knee towards the chest and wrap the hands around the knee and just gently draw the knee in and then relax it. In and relax. And do this with breath now. With the exhale, drawing the knee in. And with the inhale, let it relax and drop to its own neutral space. Exhaling. Inhaling. In your own way. And last time here, inhale fully. And then with the exhale, drop the hands and drop the leg down. And then let's come to the other side. So drop the left knee now down towards the belly. And then start with those slow, gentle movements in through the left side now. Whatever way feels perfect for you. Trying to mirror and yet be aware of the fact that the left and right will really establish and express life in very different ways. So we follow that. The pranic response again. Maybe exploration is needed differently on this side. Be open to that. And again, choose where the hands might fall. So if the hands want to come again onto the hips, or if they want to find their way drawn up overhead or just down to the sides of the body, you see what feels perfect for you. And after we come to the center on this side, going in the other direction. So letting the hip and the leg move in the other direction. And maybe you're noticing these slow, gentle movements, the way in which there's warmth and invitation into the pelvis, the hip, getting that water element of Swadhisthana chakra, this apas, or sometimes also called jala in Sanskrit, allowing that water element to really flow freely in through space of pelvis. Last time on this side, and then with the exhale, really allow the knee to draw down towards the chest. Inhaling, allow it to neutrally rest. Its own natural way. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, let the hands and the knee start to relax. And with the exhale, bring the leg down onto the floor. And you might come back into that position again with the knees finding their way towards each other and the heels and feet out to the sides. Rest here. Maybe take your arms right out from the shoulders, allowing that open spaciousness to be felt in the heart. And take a moment to notice those gentle movements in through the space of the hips, what they're welcoming for you now. Be here entirely, savoring what's here now, what the exploration, the inquiry, this embodied inquiry is revealing to you specifically now. And let's come into another warming. Bring the feet back towards that center line so they're directly pointing out from the hips. And then you might support by bringing the hands gently under the buttocks, if this is helpful for you. Then from here, let's come into bridge lifts. So inhaling, let the body draw up and through, point navel up towards the sky. And with exhale, let the body come down. If there's no tension in the lower back, let the hands be at the sides of the body. Inhale, draw all the way up and through. Exhale. And now see, even as you inhale, if you can keep the pelvic floor relaxed. If there's a natural mula bandha, a natural drawing up, a lock that happens through the pelvic floor, Allow that to be there, but notice if there's excessive clenching as you do this, and consciously relax. Continue to move in this way and maybe stop on the inhale for a moment. Feel the space of the heart, the pelvic floor, the sacrum. Feel yourself in space and then relax. Exploring these movements consciously through the body. And now inhale, draw all the way up and stop there and consciously apply Mula Bandha. So now find that space between the yoni and the anus and draw and tuck up and through like you're tucking into the core of the body. Hold and exhale, release. Again, inhale, draw up. Hold the breath there for a second, Mula Bandha. Draw that lock in and through and relax. And check your heels, women. So maybe you need to draw your heels a little bit farther back towards the buttocks. Inhale, draw up and through. Hold the breath, apply Mula Bandha. Exhale, release. Last time here. Inhaling fully. Stop for a moment. Now apply Mula Bandha and feel the interconnection. Feel even that golden light from yoni up to heart. Bring a tethered line, almost like a filament of light from the yoni right up to the heart. Golden. And exhale, maintain that awareness. Then for a moment, if it helps to wrap the knees in, draw the knees in and just relax, just as we did on the one side and the other. You can do a few movements here that will help to relax the sacrum, the pelvis, the hips, and then bring the feet back and we'll come into this last little bit of a warming. Bring the hands onto the hips here. We're just going to slightly tuck in through the pelvis. So if you can see, I'm slightly raising the upper back, but only by sliding the head and the pelvis. So it's as though you're rocking the tailbone, sticking the tail down towards the floor and then raising up and through. So it's as though you rock the hips. There's no lift of the buttocks. And as you do this, you might notice that the head, as is happening for me, will slide against the mat. Will slide and up and down. And then find your breath here, women. So for some of you, you'll feel that the inhale feels good as you move one way, or the exhale feels wonderful as you move another way. See what feels perfect for you. Three more times in this way. And then allow the sacrum to find its own place of neutrality. Just rest there. Feel the whole column of the spine also. Sushumna Nadi, that central channel. Notice its natural flow of prana. You might feel, especially with this calmed, full breath, that there's a tingling that starts to happen and aliveness throughout the whole body. And let's gently come into a couple asanas that are so wonderful for connecting this heart and pelvic space. So let yourself roll over to one side, right or left, and gently bring yourself onto your tummy. So roll so that you're coming right over onto the abdomen and adjust yourself on your mat in whatever way is comfortable on the mat. And then from here, bring the hands so that the backs of the hands are onto the mat and the chin is coming down onto the floor. From here, take the hands and clasp them at the lower back. So bring them so they're actually touching the coccyx. You can feel as though they come right down towards the tailbone. And point that first finger. So bring those first fingers together and point it down towards the feet. And stretch the arms. Keep the chin down on the floor. Find a few deep breaths. And as you breathe, continue to breathe down into the pelvic floor and feel the lower abdomen pressing against the mat. Exhale, release. Once more in this way. And then with the next inhale, press down into the feet and begin to raise up through the chin and the heart space. Press those pointed fingers back. So this is an unassisted Bhujangasana. Feel the expansion through chest, feel that pressing of the feet, and continue to point those fingers. Take one more full inhalation here. And with the exhale, soften down. Come onto chin or forehead. Let the shoulders relax, but allow the hands to stay where they are. Feel that spaciousness entering both into the heart space and also the pelvic space. This meeting of awareness, breath, and movement, really allowing this to be an inquiry in and through the body. Exhale here, and then with the inhale, draw up again. Continue to find full and long breaths here. Press those fingers back, feel the shoulders down and back. If at any point anyone's feeling tension or pain, of course, come down. Find one more full breath here. And then with the exhale, melt down, relax the hands and bring the hands under the shoulders now. Elbows at the sides of the body. Relax the chin down. And then let's move gently with breath here. So as you inhale, let the body come up, but continue to feel that feeling of shoulders staying down. So the shoulders stay down, the chin raises up. And with the exhale, let there be a melting down and through. Let's wave in this way a few times. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, soften. Find your own rhythm here. And the next time we come up, let yourself stay there. Keep the elbows slightly bent. Let the chin be slightly up towards the sky and continue to find breath. 3 full breaths here. Feel that communication between the heart space and also the pelvic space. Anahata and Swadhisthana chakras, both those air and water elements. The womb and the altar of the heart. And with the next exhale, gently, slowly lower down. Beautiful, everyone. And then let's slowly draw it back into a child's pose. So bend the knees, and if you want to widen them out or you want to keep them together, find yourself into Balasana. Touch the big toes, draw yourself down, and extend the arms out in front. Drop the forehead down or create a pillow for the forehead with the backs of the hands and soften there. Continue to find those full deep breaths. And even here, continue to feel that communication between a soft heart and that open space of the yoni. Feel the way in which you are feminine, heartfulness, and creative power are communicating between these two spaces, para and apara ojas, the great vitality of heart and also of yoni. Feel the richness, the nourishment, the abundance Let your attention dwell in these two places. And then ever so slowly extend the arms if they're not already extended. Press into those toes and let's come up into downward dog for a moment. Enjoy it here. So if you want to undulate slowly, or you want to bend in through knees, or if you want to bend one elbow then the other, really allow this to be a feminine expression of dance, of release, of relaxing. And then look up towards the hands and take the left foot forward. And from here, take the left hand to the inside of the left foot and step your left foot to the outside of the mat, and then drop that right knee. So Utthana Prishtanasana, this lizard pose. This is so wonderful for opening up through the pelvis. From here, we might stay high on the hands. Okay, and if you need to use blocks here, you also can. If you want to stay high on those right toes, you also can. So both hands coming down. Let me show you from the front also. So try to keep the hands on the insides of that left foot and the left knee over the left ankle. This one's such a wonderful asana for really expanding in through the space of the pelvis. From here, roll the shoulders back. So notice if something in you is slouching, guarding the heart here. Then keep the head as an extension of the spine. So all the way from the tailbone to the top of the head, feel it like one long line. Find breath. We'll just stay here for 3 breaths. And you can even allow a pulse to happen in through the pelvis. So it's like you're drawing down slightly and then raising up. Notice this pulsing movement. There can be a stillness even in the slight dynamic. They're not contrary. They're not contradictory. Let this be the last breath here. And then with the exhale, plant the toes, and with the inhale, step that left foot back. So you can take the left hand to the outside of the left foot and then come back again into downward dog. And you can walk a little bit here, or just enjoy any gliding movement that feels perfect. Feel that clear opening in through the pelvis, especially in through the left side. And then look up to the hands, and with the next inhale, take the right foot through now, and take the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Take that right foot out to the edge of the mat and drop the left toes down. And then same thing here. Notice if you're curling into the shoulders, you might come up onto fists, or you might use blocks here. And then really attempt to bring that right knee over the ankle. And from here, one long line in the spine. So looking down towards the floor, feeling like there's length occurring all the way from the tailbone right up to the top of the head. And again, if it feels good, to pulse slightly here. Let's find the last 2 breaths here. And then with the next exhale, drop those left toes or press them into the mat, and take the right hand now to the outside of the right foot with the inhale. Inhale fully and feel yourself move back into downward dog. And again, enjoy any movement here that feels perfect for you. Maybe swaying the hips from side to side, and notice, inquire each one of the sacred geometries, these geometrical poses, expose something about what's in the inner field, how life is embodied now. Let yourself be with that. And then let's ever so gently walk the feet slowly towards the hands, and then just hang there for a moment. Take a moment to relax, to rest. You might hang in this soft forward bend. You might even bend your knees and feel yourself almost like in a fetal position, relaxing, softening. And then as it feels perfect, slowly begin to roll yourself up. Feel all the way from the bottom of the spine, this gentle sensation. And at times again here, you might even pulse as you begin to roll. all the way up to standing. And let's find our way sideways onto our mats. So I'll bring myself so you can actually see me now. So coming sideways on the mats, and let's bring the feet at a 45-degree angle. The knees over the ankles. And from here, let's take the hands into that same mudra, into that triangle. So bring the hands into a triangle onto the space of the yoni. Let them reside there and roll the shoulders back. And then drop the pelvis down. This is a low squat. Some of us might know this as goddess pose. Herself is Devyasana. So settle the pelvis down and through and find breath. You might find that this requires strength. Find strength of heart and also the strength of the pelvic floor, the thighs. Let's find 5 breaths here, women. And if you feel to slightly pulse, feel your apana vayu, that downward flow of the energy, your roots, your groundedness, your capacity to stay here. Everyone's got it. Last 2 breaths. Good. And with the exhale, rise all the way up and draw the arms up and through. Enjoy a full body movement in which you stretch all the way up. Stretch the entirety of the body here, enjoying that length in through the body. Find full breaths into the torso. And then let's come into this once more. So let the knees again bend, but keep the arms expanded in any way that feels perfect for you. So the hands might come into a mudra here. The hands might come out to the sides. They might come to the back body. See what feels expressive for you here with the upper arms. So in whatever way feels perfect for you. But again, finding that landing place down through the pelvis. Notice if you're swaying in through the lower back. And then again, draw the tailbone into its own neutral position. Let it find its neutrality there. So whatever feels perfect for each one of you. Maybe a circularity happens in through the arms. Maybe the hands come to heart. Last 2 breaths, you've got it. Exhaling, everyone come up once again and enjoy that full stretch. And then with the exhale, let the hands fall down onto the legs, but stay in this wide position, although now bring your feet so they're parallel. So rather than the feet at a 45-degree angle, they're parallel. And bring the hands to the hips, women, and feel this stance. Feel your power here. Feel this upward facing triangle now. The fire element. Feel the power, the tenacity, the strength. Sometimes even labeled this power stance. See if you can connect to that energy as you stand here. Close the eyes, explore it. And then allow whatever sound wants to find its way out through that exhale to do so. So again, connecting here to sounding. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Explore voice, sound, as we rest in this sacred geometry. Oh. Oh. And one more time. And then very slowly, with your eyes closed, start to walk your feet back towards the center, but explore the movement without opening the eyes. Orient yourself from sensation. And let there be maybe a slight movement, a slight dancing through the hips as you do so. So feel as you draw back towards the center. Let it be fluid. Continue to move all the way back until the feet come to connect. The instep feels its way back towards each other. And then stand there. Draw the hands down towards the side of the body. And then slowly allow them to find their way into Anjali Mudra, find their way into the heart space. Take a moment to shift the weight on the feet, the way in which you're holding yourself through the pelvis, swaying slightly frontwards and backwards, finding your alignment in through the pelvis, maybe from side to side. And then find your strength right down onto the soles of the feet. Feel the energy raising up from Earth Mama, all the way through the legs, right up towards the pelvic floor, into the pelvis. Feel that energy continue to raise up towards the heart space, but this perfect combination of the rising energy and the descending energy. And rest here in the graciousness of your own heart. This beautiful pranamasana, pranam, to offer reverence, to bow to life itself, to be settled as heart. Just take a moment here to maybe bring to heart one woman in your life who could really use prayer right now, who could use a blessing. Bring her into the space of the heart and into the space between us, this great heart between us. Visualize her there at the heart and really allow yourself to shower her with a blessing of love. With our greatest unlearned capacity to love, to be as love, to hold another in great heartfulness, compassion, empathy. And shower her with this great metta. May she be so at peace, so free from whatever suffering is causing pain in her life and her being. And then similarly, take a moment to visualize the women in this group, in this Sangha. Take a moment to feel them here in your heart. Even if you can't visualize each and every one of them, feel them here. Know they're here with you. And send out a blessing of metta, loving kindness to all of these women here. May they all truly be at peace. May they all truly be free. And then similarly, wrap yourself up into your own heart. So even visualize yourself, feel your essentiality here at the heart. And from the inside, bow to the goodness, the kindness, the great beingness of love that is your very nature. Let there be a gentle asking. May I too be so free. May my natural freedom, my birthright of freedom be revealed to me. May I move beyond the hypnotisms that cause suffering. May I too be at peace. And then feel another breath or two here, women. Let the hands gently fall down towards the sides of the body. Rest there for a moment or two. Almost like a standing, sweeping relaxation. Feel prana as she innervates, as she lives in the entirety of you. But also feel the way in which there's no confinement. There's no you and the space around you. Feel that sense of omnipresent, undivided energy of life. Feel the way in which it's shared between us. No separation. And bask for a moment there. And then slowly, as you feel ready, let's allow our tender hearts to find their way back to any position seated where we were at the beginning of our time together on the mat. So find your comfort on the mat, just seated as we began with. And then gently allow the hands to come into that yoni mudra, as I shared with you previously. So combing the hands together, and the first finger and the thumb come out, and resting them here at the space of the yoni. And allow the chin to dip and the head to slightly look down, as though you're looking down into the heart and into the space of the womb. And don't do anything. Life upon life. Simply marinating here in what is. A recognition that this moment is truly all that exists. And settle here into the preciousness of being alive, but also being alive in and as woman. The gift of this connection to Maha Shakti. Feel her now. And then relax the hands. Take a full incoming breath. And with the exhale, gently open the eyes, relaxing whatever way feels perfect. Take in the space for a moment around you. Take the women in the Sangha in for a moment. And then let's find our way back to the group together in any way that feels perfect. So if you want to stay here on your mat for the rest of our time together, or you want to go back to your couch or your comfy space or wherever it is that you were, let's find our way there. Let's make our way directly into dyads. So each week we will start with the same beginning dyad, the beginning partner questioning, which is, what is alive in you now? So you're going to begin with that, and we'll begin, yes, if you need to run to the bathroom. Yes, so we'll give just a couple minutes. So if anybody else needs to go, just take 2 minutes if you need to go to the bathroom, and then we'll meet back, okay? Let's all meet back for that. So a 2-minute little bio break if you need a sip of water or you need to go to the bathroom. Okay, so we'll begin our partners, our dyads, with this question each week, but then the other 2 questions I'm going to change each week in the way in which you meet each other and explore. So we'll start with this: what is alive now, or what is alive in you now? So either, okay? And we'll begin with silent empathy. So just the capacity to stay in that heartful presence with the other. So what that looks like, women, is that we're not really like nodding in agreement or, like laughing. We're really just in an open presence with the other being. So, because if we are sort of responding in various ways or reacting in various ways, it sort of conditions how the person is sharing in one way or another. So really just an open availability in which, but you're not a statue, an open availability in which they're really allowed to welcome whatever experience is here and to share it. So what is alive in you now? And you'll have 3 minutes each way. Okay, so after 6 minutes, you'll get that little thing that says, hey, you're welcomed back to the main room. Okay, so everyone will be paired up now. So I'm going to put you in these random breakouts. And here we go. So I'll see you back in 6 minutes, okay? It's always so beautiful to see you when you come back. It's like life, like breathed into all of you. It's just amazing to see. To see each other, it's amazing the response. In 6 minutes, what empathy can do to a human heart and a human being.
Was that 6 minutes, Tiffany?
Yes, why? Tell me, Pam.
Because we thought it was 3 minutes, not 6 minutes. I don't know where we were. Maybe we're in another planet or something. I don't know.
No, the 6 minutes from the moment we broke up.
Because Kristen, I can't say her name. We were speaking at a timer, and it's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. So when we go to the next one, I'll make sure again that I set the timer properly, okay? In case it was short. Okay, so I'll double check again. Okay, if some of you felt it was short. I'm sorry if I robbed you of what's alive in you now. Okay, let's come to the next one. So we're going to enter into some at times that may be a little bit more vulnerable, literally. And I want, this will also grow in your capacity, even in a short time, to be deeply present with the other, to hold them, to really hold them. So the next that we're going to come to is what is most undigested and raw now? So what is most undigested and raw now? So something that's really raw for you. It may be a life story that, is still there for you, or it might be a situation from today, or it might be something that's really, quite raw for you. I'm going to give 7 minutes for this, so you get a little bit more. Okay, so 3.5 minutes each way. And with this one, it's the feelings and needs empathy. So you may be listening in silence, but also at times helping the person to really be heard. Like I hear deeply that you wanted connection, or, touching into some of their needs. You were yearning for being seen. You were really, really hoping to be loved. And I'm hearing that you're feeling really sad about this, or I'm hearing that you're feeling deeply disappointed about this, trying to help your sister to really touch into some of her feelings, her life force around it, her feelings and her needs, not just the superficie of the story, but really helping her to excavate some of the aliveness behind it, which when we do this, we can really help to dislodge some of the things that have been held somatically in our systems. We can truly help. And in this way, it really requires, and it's even known from neuroscience, that, in the prefrontal cortex, in our brains, we have these mirror neurons. And these mirror neurons, we really are able to negotiate and to stabilize our own nervous systems based upon the response from another being. So you're doing really medicinal work when you work in this way with deep empathy. So help your sister also to contact some of her. You don't have to jump in a lot, but help her just in deep hearing empathy. Okay? So what is most undigested and raw right now? Okay, so you're going to come into different breakout rooms. I'm going to try to do an exchange. Okay, here we go. So 7 minutes. You have 3.5 minutes each way. I will set an exact timer right now and go. Okay, I gave you a little bit more time with that one. Okay, good. So you all feel good with that? Okay, we're going to come into one more, which this may be an interesting one for some of you, and into different partners again. So this one is the following. How can I and these sisters support you to reveal more of your existent fullness? So how can I and these sisters, this sisterhood, support you to reveal more of your existent fullness? So it's also about taking self-responsibility in being here, but really some sharings, maybe things you haven't named, you know, ways that you could be supported. And the woman listening, just really listen as a sister to the things this woman is really longing for in being here. So whatever arises, you don't have to plan what you're going to say. You don't have to, you know, create a pitch. Just whatever arises from your own vulnerable heart, you know, why you're here and how you could ask that woman in front of you to support you to move more into your existent fullness, to more into your already is fullness, okay? And this is the listening with cage and release. So as I expressed to you before, that's with some somatic dialoguing of the body. So especially the person expressing, you might move or you might breathe or you might express with a little bit of physical movement. And the one listening, you might be there with her in that, in all the things, some silence, some feelings and needs, and also yes, you know, yes, sister, I can feel that in whatever way it moves through. Okay, so this one's a little bit more embodied. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so again, 7 minutes, okay, in different breakout rooms. Let me do this exchange again. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I hope this works. If you end up in a similar pairing, then enjoy. Okay, bye all. Okay, let's come off mute. And if there's anyone who would like to share, I would love to hear the following. What was the most surprising thing you learned about one of your sisters? You might not have to name who it was, but just one of the most surprising things or one of the things that was most touching or inspiring for you. Something that you learned in this process. And anyone who wants to go.
I'll go. Yeah. I think it's how much we mirror each other. I don't know how the other person feels, but I feel like each person or each time I get connected with someone, very much it's something I can relate to, something that's happening right now for me too. But I don't know, yeah, our interconnectedness and reflection.
Mm. Other women?
I think for me it's the sharing. It's this when you're that we felt as if just this idea of a shared, like you say, reflection of each other in this kind of sharedness, this commonality, this desire for connecting. And that while the other person speaks, it connects with the things that you feel as well. If it wasn't your issue, then it was true for you too. There are ways in which it was true for you too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I had some surprise about, sorry if I interrupted somebody, but surprise, I suppose, about one of these difficult emotions being anger. For some reason, feeling like it really resonated and also was mirrored. But just some surprise, in this blissy, joyful post yoga, and then, but then to have this sort of collective sisterly issues around and with anger. So,
Yes. Anything else? One more sharing if anyone would like to.
I could go.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, Sasha and then Shanti. Let's do that.
Okay.
Sasha and Shanti.
Okay, so I learned that one of my sisters is lives near me, like just one town over, and it's neat because in some ways I feel like so close and connected, and then I know some of my sisters are like literally on the other side of the world. So it was just a sweet, it made me feel, to know I have a sister in the neighborhood feels good. That was a nice surprise.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Sasha. Okay, and Shanti?
Yes, I echo everything that was shared. Same. And I just love how it nurtures, how it feeds that longing and that need for connecting with depth and vulnerability and risk and authenticity. And that's so juicy. It's so good. It's so juicy.
Beautiful. So the intention really tonight that was coming alive for me just before we came and in the presence of tonight was really touching on some of our, especially in our collective womanhood, some of the ways in which Amma, as it's understood in Ayurveda and in the Vedic tradition, Amma with one M, which means undigested materials. So undigested things can be held physically, energetically, emotionally, mentally. Are you all able to hear me? Are we flowing? Yeah, okay. So some of our practices this evening, everything from, the chanting to the goddesses, to also chanting to Gayatri, to also the yoga that we practiced, to working with the breath work and the sounding, to also these dyad practices, all help to confront some of this amma, some of these undigested materials. And when this undigested matter gets held in the physical body, what I notice, especially for women, is it confines our capacity to truly experience kama, pleasure, and ananda, bliss. And that can express itself in orgasm in the sexual field, but let's just say more than that, it can express itself also as confinement to just the orgasmic potency of what it is to be alive. Now, we don't have to think of this as orgasm in the sexual realm, as I've expressed with you before. It's that capacity to really be making love in our lives. And so I did have the intention for us to also have a bit of time to touch in, but it looks like it's 9 p.m. to find out from you. So I would love to go 10 minutes over. You all know me, so you probably planned for that anyways. To go 10 minutes over, just to see what's alive here as far as self-pleasuring, explorations also with, nourishing and some sensuality sadhana. And any questions really that are there. You know, if some of you have been experiencing deepened pleasure, if you've been opening and unraveling or unveiling some other orgasmic potentialities in your life, but also in your own self-pleasuring. So really it's just an open field. I would like to provide that to you because we've had enough talk about it in the first and second time. If there's still questions that are here, what's arising, what's coming up, what have you found thus far in your inquiries? Anyone want to share or ask or be with this contemplation? Or are we all going to be shy now? No.
I'd like to share.
Okay, so
I'm ready to share.
multiple ones. Okay, I think Radha spoke, then Om Shanti, then Shanti. So let's go in that order. So Radha, what do you want to share?
Should I go? I didn't hear. Is it my turn?
You'll go after Om Shanti. So Radha, Om Shanti, then Shanti.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, we all jumped at the same time. Yeah, I guess my only question was around integrating self-pleasuring into relationship, because for me that has been the tricky thing. The more I explore self-pleasuring, the more I am not so interested or don't have enough energy for my partner as well. And yeah, and then I don't want to make him feel bad, but you know, or unwanted, because that's not the point. That's not why self-pleasuring is there. It has a completely different purpose, obviously. But yeah, he's been wondering about ways in which the two things can be complementing each other rather than one over the other.
This is a beautiful question. And I think many of you women might have the same question arise, whether you're in partnership now or later. You might find that as well. And my sense is that oftentimes what happens is in an acquaintance with ourselves for some time, that takes some precedence. And then it finds its own neutral place, its own middle place. But it's just like, for example, if you've never had, which you have, Radha, but if you've never had your time in relationship to really inquire into who you are, to take time for spiritual practice. And what will happen in a lot of partnerships, or to have a new hobby, or to study something, to go back to school. What will often happen in many partnerships is then for some time, there'll be a lot of focus on that sort of self-discovery. So in the same way, even though of course sexuality requires two, in some level it requires two, in the same way, when we're starting to get self-acquainted, we need that time for us to even be able to present and bring that. It's like a whole new recalibration. So somehow making the commitment in different ways. It might be in very different ways, Radha. It might be that, you know, I am in intimacy with my partner simply out of the dyad of connection and communication, even in a sexual realm, but because it meets certain needs. And as far as pleasure, I'm finding that I'm meeting my needs deeper with my own self-pleasuring, but I'm not expecting that to be met maybe there. It's for different values, different needs, that I come to that versus I come to this. And then you might find that the two will merge. And they might not. It's as simple as that, women. It might not. It might be that you're so self-acquainted with your own pleasure that you don't have that expectation on your partner. Like, it's as simple as that. And they may feel like, whoa, that's like a, you know, that's a really big thing to say, but I think we need to welcome all possibilities. And to also be available to the fact that your intimacy with your partner will be ever changing also the longer you're together. It will be ever shifting and changing. So this can also be a momentary shift, but you also don't have to make specific promises that it's going to happen in one way or another with him. So I've seen that a lot, especially for women as they really start to get empowered in their own pleasure, and especially with deepened orgasms. If you're using something like a yoni wand, or you're starting to play, a lot of women will start to express and be able to find cervical orgasm on their own before they are able to with their partner. That's very, very common. That's very common. And then it requires some time with the partner before they're able to actually express that also in intimacy with them. So he needs, you know, a little bit of time of care and empathy that he gets to join the party soon. And maybe for other reasons. I hope that helps, Radha. Yeah. Okay, Om Shanti.
Hi.
Hi, love.
Thought that question from Radha was quite interesting because I've been playing around with exploring myself in my own different ways as well, and bringing my husband in along for the ride as well. And that's been really interesting and pretty incredible, because the more I feel like shedding the layers off, I often refer to it as like zipping up a jacket, and it's the heat of summer, so why am I wearing 6 jackets? So remove the jackets. And even just the other night, it was 2:00 in the morning before we ended up going to bed. And if you guys already know me to a certain degree, it's about an hour and 10 minutes past my bedtime right now. So that's in and of itself really incredible. But he was joking around the other day about my yoni wand. And he mentioned, he goes, you know, it's not like you ever use it. And finally I just threw it back at him and said, well, why don't you use it with me? And that's what happened. So really just an exploration of just playing together to, no jackets. It was really interesting to watch this kind of shift 5 years into a relationship. That 5 years is where we're at before we've shed those jackets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Om Shanti, thank you for that. Okay, and Shanti? Oh, we don't hear you.
Yes, thanks. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we hear you.
And I apologize, I'm in my car, but
We hear you.
it's my sexy car. I'm too sexy for my car. Okay. I'm so grateful for the wand because this course also because I've been single for a while, so I don't have a male partner, and with my age, I'm 54, and I had menopause, and so I felt like my libido was has been decreasing, and I've had so many conversations with friends. Oh my gosh, it just feels like it's gone forever. And when I have a partner again, am I gonna get all juiced up again like I used to be? And because in the past I experienced, very beautiful depth in my sexual intimacy, and so there's been this longing of sadness because I so want it again, but it's just taking its time to arrive. And so in the meantime, I tried some silicone toys, and I didn't like them because it didn't have the sacredness to it. And so since I've been using the wand, I feel that I've regained the sacredness of self-pleasuring, and that my body is responding beautifully. And so I feel like, oh yeah, that capacity was there with my last partner, and it's there with me. And so I'm realizing that it's not dependent on my partner so much, because I had this whole construct that he was the best lover I'd ever had, and I'm never going to find a good lover like that again. And so this discovery is very healing, and so I'm really grateful for that. And then there was this funny little joke. So I'm in communication with a man. I can't say it's a relationship or it's online. I mean, geez, COVID online relationships, whatever that is. But it's very beautiful. It's very deep. And I sent him a little smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is very good for male, and the energy of the smoky quartz is very protective and very grounding. So it was very fitting for him. And so there was a little joke, and I said, put the smoky quartz under your pillow. And then he was saying it's kind of sad that, in these COVID times and the distance, that we don't have intimacy, but I'm sleeping with a crystal under my pillow. Here comes the punchline, gal. And then my response is, well, my intimate lover is an obsidian wand. Right? And so, a beautiful obsidian wand.
It's so sweet.
So if you don't know me, I love crystals, and so it's not trivial anymore. It's not silicone, and so there's just these deep ways of even connecting with the male, with the masculine, with myself. That's just really cage and release, that one. And yeah, so that's my share. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Shanti. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other women who would like to share this evening?
I'll go quick. A quick story. Just and I don't have a wand. I missed the sale, whatever. But there are lots of tools that you have that are attached to your body that work just fine. And I rented this country place, and I spent a lot of time by myself, completely undressed, and just wandering around the cabin, doing whatever I felt like doing, without any thought about, timing being right, moment being okay, whatever. It was all up to me and whatever I felt like doing, which was fabulous. Yeah, freeing, nice.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you for that. We haven't talked about it so much, women, but I really so often will even share with women to spend, more and more time undressed. And we use all these things to guard these spaces, the heart and the yoni, to guard those spaces with underwire bras and with underwear and all those things. And I remember as a kid, I think I shared this with all of you as a young woman, I would say to my mom, I don't want to wear underwear. She would just be like, this is a nightmare. And I'd be like, I'm not wearing them. I'm wearing a skirt and I'm not wearing underwear. This isn't happening today. It's hot out. It gets itchy. Why? She was like, okay, my daughter's wearing a dress to church without underwear on, right? But I could feel intuitively, commando for years, right? Very good. Shanti. So giving, what Leslie is saying is just being in the freedom of that. I love that. It's so beautiful. So, so beautiful. And especially this time of year for some of you are in your winter season, but those of us in summer season, getting all the elements on the body, bathing in water, bathing in the earth, lying on the earth, lying in the sun, naked. This is also part of really digesting that amma, and really moving into what it is to be in embodied pleasure. Okay, one more share, if there's one more from someone. Sonia?
I'll share. So I sort of dialoguing tonight a little bit about control. And I recently did something that actually, I think I shared it in the group, but anyways, I recently did a boudoir shot, a boudoir with a trusted, beautiful photographer, and I took it as a study project. So I kept watching videos of how to be sexy, and you point your toes, you do this, because I didn't want to get it wrong, right? So this shows you again this caging, this control, this trying to fit a role that you don't really feel like it's you, but why not, but conditioning, blah, 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 right? And so my take home is whether you can afford this actually professionally done, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's yourself, my new kind of takeaway from this is I think it should be done at many stages with many bodies. And part of the reason this was a stretch for me is just for kids, a brand new, different body, you know, this kind of thing. But by the end, fully naked, loft, full windows, looking out to the city, straight into the camera, like straight eyes. And of course, that's what's sexy, right? It's not what you're wearing. It's not what you're doing. It's that you're owning it. You're owning self. You're owning nakedness. You're there, and it was personally very empowering. And I wish other women did or knew about this or did this and just even follow their lives, kind of like. Does that make sense? You know, you do it when you're 90 and you do it when you're 30 and you do it when you're whatever, 10. So that's my share. And maybe this came out of this, I don't know it, but this is what, it was good. It was a good experience. That's my share.
Thank you so much, Sonia. Thank you. All of you have shared such different things, and it's so beautiful. I'm so inspired to hear from all of you. One thing that arose for me when Shandeep was saying, because I've heard this many times, you know, that was the best lover or the best relationship I ever had. I'm never going to get. Here's what I want to say, women. As you reclaim your own pleasure, as you recognize your own unfolding Shakti, you will make every man the best lover you've ever had. Honestly, you can curate that. Let me be really honest. You will unfold them into their own capacity to really show up like a king. Really. Every man wants to see a woman dance, you know, they want to see that. So as you start to tap into your own unbridled pleasure, it really will help them to access also their own verticality. Or if they're not up for it, they'll remove themselves and someone else will come in who is, really honestly. So in that way, you know, you will really allow the space, the invitational space for a man who can hold that level of pleasure. So you take care also of you, of the uncaging of all of that. And I really want to highlight, because this last week I had a few women who have written me about some of the expansive ways in which their lives have been changing due to this self-exploration. And I really want to highlight that that there's a great medicine in this and a great empowering in us, just all the ways that you're sharing, really getting untethered in these ways and accessing Kama, accessing one of these 4 fulfillments of our lives, to be in joy, to know what it is to truly be in joy, not desirousness, but in joy, to be bathed in joy, the joy of being alive. So maybe that's a good place for us to conclude. Shall we chant together and conclude for this evening? Okay, let's come to chant. We'll chant one of the Shanti Patas this evening, this one that asks, may all beings truly be free, free from illness, free from ignorance, and free from suffering. May every being truly be at peace. So bring your hands to heart and you can repeat after me. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Sarve Santu Nirahamaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Settling for a moment into the gift of this mantra, this prayer. May each of you and may all beings truly be called to wake up to the truth of what it is to live now. May all beings truly be free from suffering. May all beings be free from the ignorance that keeps us clouded, shrouded in pain and a constant, incessant attempt to live. And may we all relinquish to the great guidance and grace of life's hand to live in and as effortlessness. May we all deeply abide in the heart, hridayam, and as women also in the great womb, yoni. May we find our power, our grace here and now. Namaste. Thank you, dear ones. As always, it's such a blessing to come together in these ways. If you want to come off mute to say goodnight to each other, and we'll see each other next Tuesday.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Sisters.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, good night.
Sweet dreams, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, loves.